Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with Mr. Stephen Dow from Velocity Mortgage, the co-creator of the 50-40-10. How you doing, brother?
Yes, sir. Uh, I feel much rested. I'm not gonna lie. Just like yourself, you kind of took a little bit of a step back to, like they say, take some time to smell the roses. Because with everything that you've done over the last several years, I think you've earned it. And yeah, this last year, a little over a year that you and I have been working together, especially towards the latter half of 2021 and the beginning of 2022, it's been crazy,
Yeah,
volume. And so
you can only go 7 days a week so long. The body needs some time. It's just come
Well,
on.
no, it wasn't so much the body that I can maintain. It was more the mental state. Like I was starting to kind of, snap at people, just like angry after work, and it's like I'm so
uh,
blessed, you know what I mean, and grateful in a sense, but still, it's just like wearing on me. So this little break was well needed, and yeah, I feel 100% refreshed. But no, want to get back to it because with that 50-40-10, that's really the only game in town to kind of really make some of these deals work as far as cash flowing because
yeah,
my rate is still at 8.75 on that 30-year fix on the
yeah,
first,
yeah.
So
So we'll step into that in a minute, but I want to step
mhm,
back and look at the broader picture of the non-QM market because the last 2 years have been fake. I think people are starting to realize that. I think there's a lot of non-QM lenders who've already closed their doors. There's a big one on Wednesday, I guess, that closed
mhm,
down. Well,
right.
top 10 firm.
Yes.
More are coming. And the
More than
reason,
likely, yeah, only because again, many of these other non-QM lenders had pretty much the same as some of the other ones, so
yeah,
you just couldn't really differentiate. And so yeah, some of those programs are just not going to be impactful, just due to the rate increases. And so unless people's incomes have increased, or like I was just telling you off camera, unless you got a time machine to jump back in time to increase your deposits over the last
yeah.
12 to 24 months, just not going to happen. So we're very uniquely positioned in the sense of we're not looking at that, especially on residential. No DSCR either.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely, the cost of capital, it is what it is. But if you can handle that payment, and if you've kind of structured the deal in a sense to where it'll cash flow, we can make it to the finish line. That's the major difference.
Yeah, what I
And
would tell
we're still around.
Yeah, what I would tell somebody watching this, even if you have a non-QM lender that works for you, I
Mhm.
strongly recommend adding a second one to your Rolodex. So
Oh
I would
yeah.
reach out to Stephen Dow at Velocity Mortgage, just to have another one because I've actually heard from people that are like, "Hey, I used firm ABC and they closed
Hmm.
down, or they changed their program while I was midstream and already spent money on appraisal and all of that."
Right.
Stephen, how should they reach out to you? We're going to keep this conversation going, but I think there's a lot of people stuck and they need a plan B. So how would they reach out to you?
Oh, again, just email's the best. SDAO@velocitymortgage.com. In the subject line, please just put the acronym ORAAT, nothing else for now. That'll allow us, or allow the email to get past my firewall. Otherwise, it's going to get stuck in quarantine. Body of the email, maybe brief description, what you're looking for. Property address would be super helpful. If not, at least city and state where you're looking to invest in. Your mid FICO score, best phone number to reach you at. And typically, right now, at least for myself, about 48 hours to reply back, only because I'm getting a little bit of an overflow. There's been several lenders that closed their doors over the last couple of weeks, and so I'm getting a lot of that overflow because, like you said, Plan B. A lot of these people got stuck in middle of the loan, under contract. A lot of that situation.
Yeah. So let's just remind people the power of the 50-40-10 that you and I co-created or
Oh
co-marketed
yeah.
or whatever you want to call it. So first and foremost, this is a lending program that worked 6 months ago. It works now and will work 6 months in the future. It's
Right.
essentially a way to get into a deal with 10% down.
Yep.
It keys on the fact that Velocity Mortgage allows you to do 90% CLTV. So remind people what CLTV is and why that's important.
Sure. CLTV basically stands for combined loan to value. So that would be the combination of what I can provide on a loan in first position, and in this case, 50% LTV and under, ideally would allow me to offer you my lowest rates. Then the second, which would be the seller, can carry that if they have enough equity and willing to. That's then now would be a combined 90% CLTV, which allow you to then put down 10%.
Yeah, and we've done past videos. We've even gave us 90 minutes on a weekend. We have a deep dive
Right.
playlist. Go check it out, where
Right.
you can get a combined or blended interest rate sub 6%, sub 5% on 90% of debt, which is just so powerful.
Well, I would say that was probably a couple months back. I think the blender rate's probably closer to mid sixes at this point, only because my first is at 8 3/4.
Well, you
So I
get
guess
eight
we would have
three
to do the
quarter.
spreadsheet again. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I think it's certainly under 6. You get 8 three
Okay.
quarters for 50%. You get 1% for 40. That's going to be a blended rate sub 6. My guess, maybe it's 6 1/4. But anyways,
Okay.
it's a way you can get. The key is you have to find the right seller, but you can
Right.
get 90% of the debt, bring only 10%, and get a blended rate down. It's not for every deal. They're not everywhere, but they are out there. And we have one rental at a time fans working on deals now.
Hmm.
We've had
Hmm.
one rental at a time fans close deals with the 50 40
Multiple.
10. Yeah, so
Hmm.
let's talk about that and just
Yeah.
remind people. A lot of people say this isn't possible, and that's just not true. Get rid of that mindset. It takes work. It's not easy, but it is possible.
100%. You just got to have, meaningful conversations with the decision makers just so you can get past some of the people that don't understand it or just are muddying up the waters. But once you can get to the decision makers, and if the circumstances allow to where the seller has enough equity willing to carry because they don't have that money earmarked for something else or 1031 exchange, it's usually win-win because seller gets to reduce their capital gains hit initially. They get passive income on that 40%, which offsets the additional capital gains on that remaining portion. So in the end, you get to keep more of your money. And I think in the short term, you get to stop the bleeding because the longer
Right.
you're going to be days on market, it's not getting any better. It's only going to get worse. So it does allow for that. But again, the circumstances have to kind of be available for us to be able to participate in that kind of setup. But otherwise, when it is, it's a beautiful thing. And I'm doing, again, my first one that we ever did was a 70/20/10. So really any combination of up to a 90% CLTV. I did a 42/48/10,
Mm.
um, a 65/25/10. So any kind of combination up to that. But that, in addition to, we can add an interest-only payment option for the first 10 years of your 30-year fixed loan. If it's something that kind of needs a little bit of work to stabilize first, you can then appreciate that payment relief for 10 years, but your rate is fixed for 30. We also allow sellers to contribute up to 3% towards buyers' non-recurring closing costs. So maybe some of that money could be used to, not only buy down the rate as well as, maybe some of your closing costs. So a lot of different hacks that we can kind of do to certain deals to really structure it, the most optimal way for the client. So other than that, yeah, still around. Yeah, going
Yeah.
strong still. So other than that,
Yeah. So, folks, again, I think this is possible. Again, we're heading into winter. I keep reminding people that the best deals I've done usually are between Thanksgiving and New Year's. Find a
right.
deal that stays on market. A seller has equity. Understand how you can position. Hey, Mr. Seller, will you carry 20%? Will you carry 25%? Will you carry
Right.
30%? What kind of interest rate? You can really bring down your blended interest rate. And if
Agreed.
somebody wanted to talk to you about the options and how many levers you can pull, how do they reach
Hmm.
out?
Again, email is the best. That's going to be S for my first name, Steve, SDAO at velocitymortgage.com. In the subject line, the acronym ORAAT only, please, which stands for one rental at a time. Body of the email, maybe brief description, what you're looking for. Address would be great. If not, the city and state that you're looking to invest in, your mid FICO score, best phone number to reach you at. And typically 48 hours or later or earlier, I'll be able to get in touch.
Folks, reach out to him. I know he can help. Again, as we said in the beginning of the video, if you have non-QM lenders, I recommend getting a plan B. The market is shifting under a lot of them. If you are a one rental at a time fan, you know the 50/40/10 works. People in the Facebook group are posting about it all the time. So again, just it takes work. It's not easy, but the opportunities are out there, and Steven can help you. All right, buddy, enjoy
Yes,
your
sir.
time. Welcome back.
Thanks, Mike. You too, brother.
All right.